Hi friends, welcome in. It's Kirk Harnack along with Hans von Zutphen, and we're at the Thimeo booth here at NAB 2026. And we're here because Hans is going to give a demonstration and explain some things about his popular audio processing called StereoTool. Hi Hans, good to see you.
Good to see you.
And you're the kind of the genius, the creative evil genius behind StereoTool, right?
Now I have to choose between evil or genius, or?
No, you can be both.
Oh, okay. Oh, good.
So StereoTool is an audio processor for what kind of purposes?
FM, AM, streaming,
HD,
and HD. Yes, definitely.
DAB.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think you also you mentioned streaming, but your processors can also encode streaming, right?
Yes.
And for FM stereo, you can encode the stereo signal.
We can also include insert RDS.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a very full-featured RDS encoder built in. And we can create the FM signal, the full MPX signal, and we can also stream that with micro MPX to transmitter sites if you want that.
Okay, so we've established we have some very full-featured audio processing.
Yep.
What are some of the interesting and effective algorithms that you've developed over time to make audio sound better even before you process it? You've got some cleanup algorithms.
Yeah, we have this whole stage, which we call the repair stage.
Oh.
Which consists of all kinds of things. For the most famous thing of it is the declipper. So it takes clipped audio, which is distorted, and it basically restores all the peaks and gets rid of the distortion. Mm-hmm. We have the delossifier, which does something similar, but it improves the sound of low bitrate MP3 files. Obviously, you really should replace those in your playlist if you can, but if you ever play anything that's low bitrate, we can at least make it somewhat more listenable.
Or sometimes the radio station is playing audio that came in over a codec and not always at the favorable bitrate. So delossifier helps repair audio that's been coded maybe at a lower bitrate.
Yes.
Okay.
That's
all
the
right.
idea.
All right.
We have a noise removal filter. We also have one that you can train. So let's say that you have a 50 hertz or 60 hertz hum in your studio and you can't figure out where it comes from, or you have a remote broadcast and you have that, then you just train it for a few seconds, and then after that it just removes that completely without affecting anything else.
Wow. Okay.
We have a thing that can fix phase issues. So if you have older music which might have been mastered from tape, when the tape head has been moving around, then we can fix that. If you have some instruments that are in anti-phase, we can fix that completely.
So it sounds like, not only are you interested in transmitting the highest quality audio, and in radio we're competing against some other high quality audio services, but sometimes our source material, whether it's recorded or live, or we get a tape in from somebody or a recording and it's not perfect, you have tools that automatically try to correct these various audio problems, which are not uncommon in the world, and you fix those before you start processing.
Yeah, that's basically the idea.
Okay, now let's talk about the processing. When we move into the early stages of processing, what are the first things in your processor?
Well, traditionally we were using an AGC and then a multiband and another multiband, and you still can if you want to.
Yeah.
But we have recently introduced a completely new compressor design, which is way more capable, and it can actually do the whole thing in one stage. And the huge advantage of that, well, aside from being easier to set up, is that you don't have different stages that fight each other. So you have this one compressor that's dynamically adjusting its behavior to the input material. And it just controls the level completely in one stage. So it's one multiband typically running in infinite ratio mode. And you would think that would sound bad, but actually it sounds better than traditional setups. It's even so crazy, and we just found that out last week, that we can run the whole processor and feed that audio through the whole processor again, and it does almost nothing anymore. So I found out because I was trying to, I was working on HLS ingestion and making that work, and that's not there yet, but that's working on. Anyway, I tested it with a stream that came in from a local station that is using a preset that we made, and that's basically our test bed at that site. So I ran that audio through, which came in via the HLS input. I ran that through StereoTool again, and at some point I thought, oh, I have my processing turned on. I listening to double processing, so I hit bypass, and nothing changed.
Okay.
But wait, this is the full processing with all the bass enhancement and stereo enhancement and full compression, infinite ratio and everything. Nothing happens. Okay, what's wrong? But yeah, so I started looking into it, and it turns out that, well, actually exactly as intended, the multiband compressor sees that the audio is already compressed and backs off almost completely, and it does something, but very little.
Your processing is smarter than you thought it was.
Yeah, that's what it basically comes down to. Yeah.
All right, we've already talked about we have processing appropriate for all these different kinds of transmission mediums, FM, AM, and so you have the right outputs for these things. Let's talk for a moment about the options for installing it. At my radio stations, and I am a user of StereoTool, we've put it on our own computers, and we have both AM and FM stations, come in over LiveWire with a LiveWire driver and gone out via micro MPX. And that's one way to do it. And then at the transmitter sites, we use a micro MPX decoder to feed the transmitter. But you have some other options. People can still install software on their own hardware, but then we also have a box that's already built. You just put it in the rack. What is that box called?
Well, we have multiple. We have our own ST Extreme.
ST Extreme. Okay.
And that thing is built on pretty powerful hardware, and because of that, it can run up to 4 stations. So you can do 4 FMs in one box if you want to.
4 different programs?
Yes.
Oh, in one box?
Yeah. And each of them will then give you an FM and an HD output. And each one you can also stream up to 7 streams.
So you've got plenty of hardware inputs and outputs on the box as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Then there's StereoTool box made by Angry Audio.
Yes.
And there's AquaTool by Aqua Broadcast. They can process 1 stream and also still generate both FM and HD output.
You know, I find this really interesting that other manufacturers that want to create an audio processor, they think, why reinvent the wheel when Hans has a really good wheel? And so let's pay Hans a few dollars or euros and put his processing into a box that we design. Is that what's happening?
Yes. Yep.
Wow. When your customers and radio engineers, program directors, when they install StereoTool processor of any variety that we're talking about here, what is their typical reaction? What do they think about their new processing?
Well, what we often hear is that they turn this on, and it's not that expensive. They might not expect that much, and then suddenly, hey, I have the best sounding station in the States. And listeners start calling.
Yeah.
So we've heard from many people, this show again also, that they said, well, we never get calls from listeners about our audio, but now suddenly we did.
Wow.
So yeah, that's
well,
and we have this one station. And, well, actually we've had also reports here from stations that said that their ratings went up immediately after installing it. But I know at least of one station that was in a pretty big market, millions of people, tens of millions of people. They put the ST Extreme on the air.
Yeah.
And 3 months later, they went from number 3 in the market to number 1, and they didn't change anything else.
Wow. Wow. And I can verify for my own self, in Hawaii, on the island of Maui, we bought 8 radio stations, and they had old processing. So, okay, anything new is probably going to be better, but we put StereoTool processing on all the stations. We actually got phone calls and emails. Your station sounds better. Wow, what did you guys do? It sounds really nice. I can listen all day long. They didn't use the word fatiguing, but I think that's what they meant.
Yeah.
You know, it's no longer fatiguing to listen to, and I love the format, blah, blah, blah. So I know that this is a real thing.
Yeah, so let me explain why that is. So
Okay.
the first part of it, well, we already had pretty decent sounding dynamics before we did this new thing, but now that we have this new compressor, if you don't know a song, I cannot tell if it has been compressed or not. If I don't know a song, I just have no way of telling. It's that natural sounding. We actually spent like almost a year on just developing all the tiny details of this thing and analyzing every small detail of how it behaves. I've never spent this much time on one thing as on this compressor. And then after that, we have our clipper. And our clipper doesn't distort, and it allows multiple dBs of extra loudness to get through to the transmitter compared to traditional left-right clippers. And if you combine that, then you basically get a very, very dynamic sound, which is also very rich in highs, and yeah, and still, and it's actually more consistent because of this new compressor, even more instead of less. But it's the good thing is you don't hear any of these stages.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it sounds like, yeah, it's just very constant, but also you don't hear anything being done to it.
So it sounds natural, but
Yes.
better.
Yes.
But natural, but better.
That's a good summary.
Hey, watch for more videos from Hans and from me about the individual workings of inside StereoTool. We'll explain a lot more. But thanks for watching this one and learning something more about Thimeo and the StereoTool audio processor. With Hans von Zutphen, I'm Kirk Harnack.